Hi and welcome to this video. This time I'm in Basel in Switzerland, and this building here is Basel SBB station. It was opened in 1907, but even before that there was a railway station on this site, which was replaced by the structure in front of me. So what is the plan for this video? Let's look back for a moment. In the previous production, I showed you a trip from Frankfurt am Main to Basel on the German ICE. Of course, I recommend watching that video as well, so you can see how to get here in the first place. And this video right here is the continuation of that trip, using the services of the Swiss Federal Railways in order to travel to Milan in Italy. The trip has a duration of 2 hours and 59 minutes for a distance of something around 354 kilometers. On this route, SBB uses an ETR 610, which is also called RABE 503, but more on that later in the video. At 10 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday, this place is very crowded. People are commuting to work, and they not only come from Switzerland, but from France and Germany as well, making it the largest border station in Europe. Around 465 passenger trains come and go every day. In order to get to the train, I have to go upstairs first and then down again to the platforms. If you proceed to the very end of this floor, you will find some shops, including a sports store, a supermarket and an electronics store. So that's an interesting feature of the station. Anyway, before going to my train, let me explain which ticket I chose to make this trip. Just like in the previous video, I am still traveling with an Interrail Global Pass in first class. There are 33 participating countries, and with my pass I can travel on 4 days within 30 days after activation. That means nearly unlimited railway travel in Europe, and I think it is an amazing way to explore this continent. With that being said, once you have bought the pass, you still have to pay extra for seat reservations, and on certain trains you are obliged to have one. The reservation fees can vary quite a lot. On this train I paid a total of €15 for the reservation on the EU Rail website. But there are other railway services, such as the TGV, where you have to pay up to €30 for that. Okay, so this is the train that will bring me to Milan. What's interesting is that until 2009, the Swiss and the Italian state railway companies served the international routes through a joint venture called Cisalpino. But when that business was dissolved, the fleet of Cisalpino was divided between the two railway companies. SBB's nickname for this type of train is Astoro. Internally, they call it RABE 503 as well. The manufacturer has yet another name for it, ETR 610. Anyway, it was built by Alstom Ferroviaria in Italy. The train has a top operating speed of 250 km per hour, and in the 2012 configuration it can carry 422 passengers. It was conceptualized by one of Italy's most renowned experts in the field of industrial design, Giorgio Giugiaro, who not only designed dozens of cars of various brands, but even digital cameras and watches. So, this is the first class cabin in coach number 1, with a 2x1 seat configuration. Most seats are facing each other, which is a little bit of a downside when it comes to privacy. On the positive side, we have quite massive baggage racks, and you can also put some of your belongings above the seat. Next to the seat you can find these power outlets that could use some cleaning, and there's a trash can as well. Here you can get an impression of the legroom and the footrest. Besides that, the seat comes with a reading light. So overall, that's a quite comfortable cabin. In this scene, we are leaving Basel SBB station. Earlier in the video, I introduced you to some of the key data of this train. I would like to add that those RABE 503 trains do not come from the former Cis Alpino fleet. Remember, that was the dissolved joint venture between the Swiss and the Italian state railway companies. Instead, SBB placed the orders for them, and deliveries began in 2014. Another thing I would like to mention is that there is free Wi-Fi on board. I just didn't use it during the trip. I guess I was too busy filming everything. Those of you that have seen the first leg of the trip might already know it. Basel is the third most populous city in Switzerland, strategically located next to the borders of Germany and France. It is the center of the Swiss chemical and pharmaceutical industry, with some large companies operating out of this city. Moreover, it has a remarkably high number of world-class art museums and events, which is why some people claim it is the cultural capital of Switzerland. Olten is our first step after Basel. It is an important rail hub in the canton of Solothurn. Bern, Zurich, Lucerne and Basel all lie within a range of less than 50 kilometers from Olten. The building you see now is an operations center of the Swiss railway company SBB. From a high-tech command room, they manage railway operations in the Central Plateau with the aforementioned cities, as well as on the Gotthard and Lötschberg axes of the NRLA. I have talked a lot about SBB now, but what kind of railway enterprise is that? I made the following animations to give you some more pieces of information about it. First of all, SBB stands for Schweizerische Bundesbahnen, which can be translated as Swiss Federal Railways. They were founded on January 1st, 1902, and much like the German Bahn, they used to be a state entity before finally becoming a public railway company. Headquartered in Bern, SBB has over 34,000 employees, a revenue of 10.7 billion Swiss francs, and an excellent reputation. Today, SBB has 5 core divisions, with even more subdivisions, and in the political discourse in Europe, it is often mentioned as an example for a railway company that is reliable and punctual. In 2022, 92.5% of trains were on time, which, according to SBB's definition, means they had a delay of less than 3 minutes. That is rather impressive, considering that Switzerland is a mountainous country with weather conditions that can be challenging. We have left Olten and are now on our way to Bern. I've just ordered a little snack and some coffee. That cost me 9 Swiss francs and 50 Rappen, which was something like 10 euro when I recorded the video.
Express, Frutigen, Kanderstück, Koppenstein sowie Richtung Freisingen, 11:39 Uhr, Gleis 9. Und der Interregio 65 nach Lieswil.
Okay everyone, we are now approaching Bern, that is usually considered the capital of Switzerland. I say that in that way because the country actually lacks an official capital city. With that being said, Bern was chosen to be the Bundesstadt, or federal city, which means that it is home to the most important federal government institutions, making it the de facto capital. We're about to reach Bern railway station. It is the second busiest station in Switzerland, and it is currently receiving a major update with significant new underground structures. Here we are still in the canton of Bern, next to the southern shore of Lake Thun. Our next stop, which you see now, is Spiez, a little town that you may have actually heard of, because here the Swiss government operates a biosafety level 4 laboratory. Spiez Laboratory is a facility that deals with nuclear, biological and chemical threats. As such, it is frequently tasked by international organizations to detect certain substances. So sometimes Spiez has its appearances in international news. What you see now is Reichenbach Airfield, which used to be operated by the Swiss military. This structure tells us about an interesting part of Swiss history. It was built in 1943 and decommissioned in 1997. Throughout World War II and the Cold War, Switzerland relied on the Redouit strategy. That essentially meant that in case of war, the Swiss would retreat to the mountains and give the enemy a hard time using fortified structures, airfields like this one, and the natural surroundings. There are several more airfields that were built for this purpose, and even more bunkers that were drilled into the mountains. Just some 800 meters away from the airfield, there is an underground fortress that is now used to store cheese. At this moment we are in the darkness of the Lötschberg Base Tunnel, which is currently the 5th longest railway tunnel on our planet. The other passengers cheered once we left it at the south portal. During that ride through the Bernese Alps, we have crossed the border to the canton of Valais, or Wallis as it is called in German. As you can see, the sky cleared up, so we have the best conditions to enjoy a spectacular view from the window. At this point we are already on Italian soil and we are continuing our journey next to the shoreline of Lago Maggiore, a major lake that belongs both to Switzerland and to a larger extent to Italy. Let's do the usual lavatory check now. As we move along, Vanzago comes into view, a community that has grown considerably in recent decades, primarily due to its location just 15 kilometers northwest of Milan. We're about to reach our destination. Milan is the regional capital of Lombardy, and with 1.4 million residents, it is Italy's second most populous city after Rome. The Milan metropolitan area, which extends far beyond the city borders, has a population of more than 10 million, making it one of the largest of its kind in Europe. So this whole region is incredibly important for Italy's economy, and Milan is considered the country's wealthiest city. As always, I would like to give you an evaluation of this trip. So what does SBB offer? They're not flashy, and their trains won't break speed records. But you know what? They nail the basics. As said before, this railway operator has a proven track record in terms of punctuality. And when you hop on board, you can usually count on a smooth ride. So SBB isn't about bells and whistles, it's about getting you where you need to go, reliably and without fuss. That's why I rate this particular trip with 4 stars. And what about the route? Well, when it comes to the scenery, I think this was one of the most beautiful train rides that I have done in a while, so my subjective verdict is 4 stars again. Here we have Milano Centrale, the second busiest railway station in Italy based on passenger numbers. Opened in 1931, it is not just a piece of railway infrastructure, but a historic site with countless stories that can be told. But that's probably something for a separate video. Alright, that's it for this time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to share, like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in and have a great day wherever you're watching.